It's intimidating at times to be yourself because nobody wants to feel rejected. Nobody wants to face rejection. And I think that's the biggest thing that's stopping us from having our own sound because we have that number one fear that we will be rejected. We ourselves, number two, don't know how to give ourselves credit. It was hard for me to give myself credit because, like I said, it's perfectionist nature and always hearing people and being able to be honest with myself saying, oh man, I'm nowhere as good as this person. I'm nowhere, close to that. 'Cause even with me not being, I talked about false humility as well about a month or two ago. And I talked about the whole fact of not being able to take a compliment. I had to, oh man, I ain't doing nothing. And so because I got so used to not being able to accept the compliment, I started believing what I was saying. That's another thing you have to watch with trying to be too humble. What we call humble is not humble, but you start believing that stuff. And that's another thing that stops you from liking your own sound. Because I hear people all the time, very good musicians, when somebody give them a compliment, they say stuff like, man, I suck. And I think they believe what they're saying. I mean, I honestly, but based on how they respond to what they're doing, I think they believe what they're saying. But to me and other people, we're listening to it like, dude, you're amazing. What are you talking about? And they're saying stuff like, oh man, I suck. I'm so horrible. Like, I'm the worst on the planet. You keep feeding yourself that stuff. Your subconscious doesn't know how to distinguish the difference. So it feeds you things that support your claim that you speak out of your mouth. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So when you're saying that type of stuff and you're talking this type of stuff, you're revealing what's inside your heart, what you truly feel about yourself. You're saying it in a joking way, but what you're doing is you're truly revealing what you feel about yourself. And the only way to change what you feel about yourself is to change what you say about yourself. So if you want to enjoy your sound, start saying, I like my sound. It's that simple. It sounds complicated, or it sounds too simple for some of y'all. But that's the first step. Start to say out of your own mouth, I like my sound. I like what I'm hearing that's coming from my playing. If you're going to give all these other people credit, if you get on here and give me compliments about my playing, be the first one to give yourself a compliment. And I don't mean be arrogant. It's a difference. But be the first one to give yourself a compliment. Who else is going My mom got to say it, and I know it's just an old saying in general. It's a sad frog that won't croak on his own pond. It's a true statement. It's a sad frog that won't croak on his own pond. You'll hop over to somebody else's pond and make noise and ribbit and croak over there, but you won't come to your own pond and make any noise about what you're doing. Nah, make some noise about what you're doing. You can't wait for everybody else to celebrate you. Nobody might not celebrate you, or I know that's terrible English. You might not find people who are going to celebrate you right away. Some people don't get celebrated until they die. And then once they die, oh, this person was this pioneer in music, and they did all of this, and they did all that, and they just created this unique sound. But when they were doing it, they got nothing but criticism. So you can't wait for people to validate you. You can't wait for people to celebrate you. You have to start celebrating yourself. So if you want to start growing your sound, you want to start appreciating your sound and liking what you hear, start celebrating what you do. I don't care what level you're on. I'm just a beginner. So what? It is what it is. You're a beginner and you're worthy of being celebrated. You are worthy of being celebrated, not because you're so great, but because you're putting forth effort.